All right. So today, welcome. Hi, this is Willis Millis. Today, we'll be talking about Jurassic World Rebirth. It's not very good, just to let you know. Gonna be a lot of spoilers here, a lot. I call this a review, but it's really more of a rant. I don't know what the title's gonna be yet. Review, rant. But I've got a lot of problems with this movie. And gonna be going through most of them. So to get started, the movie kind of starts with, I guess, these scientists in this lab. The thing from the trailers. They're messing with this big old dinosaur called the D-Rex, massive D. And this guy, I guess he's a big fan of Final Destination because he litters and it gets him killed. He throws something on the ground, it goes into the wrong thing and breaks stuff because I guess that's how machines work. A candy wrapper can just break everything. I would have thought that they came up with a little bit better of an excuse to start the whole movie, but no, I guess a candy bar is good enough. So also the D-Rex, massive D, is only in the movie for like 15 minutes total. I'm like, bro, he was in all the promotional material, and then you're like, let's only put him in 15 minutes of the movie. He's in like the first 3, and then the last like 10. So 13, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes at the end. Not much. Years later, we'll skip to the future after the candy bar incident. As usual, we got generic billionaire who's going after the outdoorsy hero / heroine to get them to do something illegal for lots of money. Money. So he's like, yo, I'm gonna give you 10 with 6 zeros behind it to go get dinosaur DNA. Because he's like, my pharmaceutical company wants to cure heart disease and wants to profit off of it. And that's bad. But 10 with 6 zeros sounds pretty good. So she's like, well, she as in Scarlett Johansson. She's awesome. Not in this movie, but she's awesome. And the billionaire guy, he's played by, I think his name's Rupert Friend. Not so much of a friend here. Not so much. But ScarJo's like, yo, what does 10 with 6 zeros behind it mean? Does the 6 zeros include the one that's in the 10? Or is it 10 and then 000? So she's basically asking, is it 1 million or 10 million? And he says, no, yes, I don't know. I forgot if she's doing this shit for 1 million or 10 million dollars. Because if it's 1, that shit is not worth it. Anyway, she agrees. She's like, all right, I guess we'll go, get dino DNA. But what they need to do, this friend guy, right? He's like, you need to go collect the DNA or the blood samples from 3 big dinosaurs. One from the land, one from the sea, and one from the sky. Why does that matter? Who the hell knows? What difference does it make? I get that they're different, evolutionarily, but why does it matter that one's from the air, one's from the sea, and one's from the land? And why does it have to be the biggest from each? Why can't you just pick one sub-region, be like, okay, we're just gonna get the blood samples from the 3 biggest land animals and work with that? Those are probably the ones most similar to humans, because they're like, we want to cure human heart disease with fucking dinosaur DNA. And don't they already have this shit? So the guy at the beginning is like, when InGen went, chapter 11, bankruptcy, we bought all their shit. Why don't you have the DNA? If you have the DNA, why can't you start the cure? Why can't you just do it now? Why do you need to go collect more DNA? I thought you already had all the gene sequencing. I thought you already had all the genetic information. Why do you need more? I don't get it. Also, they're taking this guy, little paleontologist boy who's working at a museum, and he's like, man, everyone hates dinosaurs now. No one gives a shit. No one cares anymore. So, his museum's kind of going under. And he's like, man, we used to fill this place up every day. And then like a year ago, they just stopped coming. We sell like a dozen tickets a week. I'm like, bro, why would anyone go to a museum in this world anyway? I'm like, there's real fucking dinosaurs. There's no real dinosaurs here. Yeah, there's real dinosaur bones. I guess if you want to go look at dinosaur bones instead of real dinosaurs, I don't get it. Aren't there better options now? Why would anyone go to a museum? I don't get it. You know, nobody's going to the museum anymore because no one cares about dinosaurs. Also, that's stupid. Like, what? Like, I get dinosaurs have existed in this world now for damn near 30 years, but still, dinosaurs. I don't think people are going to get that bored of them that quickly. I hate that they make this such like a big plot throughout like all the new Jurassic World movies. It's like, man, no one cares. It's like, no one cares about dinosaurs and we need to use them in the military. Two things that make no fucking sense. I'm like, you have bullets. That's like a long range velociraptor bite. But, you know, they're like, no, we need to use them for covert ops. You know, we could train the raptors to go. But that's a different movie. And so it doesn't matter. But still, they're like, man, no one cares about dinosaurs. So no one goes to the museum. So Mr. Billionaire friend, Tiger Billionaire over here, is like, hey, Jonathan Bailey, the guy that plays the paleontologist. Good looking guy, honestly. Probably one of the better looking paleontologists out there. But he's like, yo, Johnny, we need you to go with Scarlett Johansson to this island so that you can correctly identify these big creatures. And, you know, from one sense, I'm like, why? Why though? Just give her pictures. Like, it's not that hard. Why are we taking an untrained civilian? Like, just have her spend like a day or two with them, you know? Here's pictures of these animals because we actually have pictures now because they exist. You know, they're real. Also, they're massive. So I don't get how you could miss them. No, he needs to go so that he can identify them. I'm like, maybe if they were one of, you know, the smaller ones, like, you know, a Utah raptor versus a velociraptor, like in this universe, they're basically the same thing. They're the biggest things out there. They're going to be kind of hard to miss and probably pretty identifiable. Okay, so I don't really get why he's there, to be honest. He also really doesn't serve that much purpose in the film. Everything that he does is pretty non-scientific. Movie, he's just kind of generic, kind of untrained, bumbling action hero, I guess. Just doing shit, climbing down mountains, doing everything that Scarlett Johansson does. That too. She really doesn't do anything that's like, never mind. She kind of shoots a dinosaur. I guess that's pretty GI. Whatever. I don't know why he's there. Also, the plot of this movie, it's just the plot of Deep Blue Sea and Jurassic Park 3 kind of. Now they're just one movie. Although I would say Deep Blue Sea and Jurassic Park 3 are much better than this movie. Bold statements out here. Go watch Deep Blue Sea and Jurassic Park 3. Maybe not Jurassic Park 3, I'll be honest. But if you haven't seen Deep Blue Sea, go watch Deep Blue Sea. It's a good movie. So, Mr. Friend, sexy paleontologist, and Scarlett Johansson traipse down to an island near the equator because that's where all the dinosaurs are. Because it's tropical and most like how the Earth was however million years ago they lived. Which, you know, is a pretty wide range, you know, like I'm pretty sure that each period in the prehistoric eras, like Jurassic, Triassic, Cretaceous, were millions of years long each. So I don't imagine there's really one climate fits all for a lot of these animals, especially considering they lived in different parts of the planet. But sure. You know, they all live near the equator because it's tropical. And they like tropical. Dinosaurs like tropical because there were no, you know, pine forests or cold areas back then. It was all tropical. Okay. So they go off to this island near the equator to gather the lads. You know, they got to get the mercenary squad together. They got to get the unalive squad together. So they go down to an island near the equator to go get the lads. One of them is Marshala Ali, I think is how you say his name. Another assortment of disposable characters, you know. We got to get all the disposable characters together in one spot so that the dinosaurs have something to eat. They're starving. So during this scene, they're scamming the billionaire. So that, you know, they successfully scam him. They get him to pay Scarlett more money. And then she's like, yeah, I'll pay you guys even more money, you know. So now he's giving me either $2 million or $20 million. Again, $2 million. I probably wouldn't do this shit for that amount. Yeah, I'll go to Dangerous Dinosaur Island and probably die for $2 million. I don't think so. So I'm gonna go. She's getting paid 20 million, which is, you know, maybe that might be fair. But so they're working with the billionaire guy, and he's just standing kind of in front of this, I think it's a megalodon jaw, and one of the mercenaries is like, well, we're gonna be there so that you don't end up in one of those. And he kind of points to the jaw, and I'm like, are there megalodons now? Are there? Like, okay, so this is something that also really bothered me, because I see the fishermen, they like, as we're kind of establishing the scene, during the establishing shot, we see like the fishermen haul up this Dunkleosteus skull, right? Not a skull, kind of a head, but I think it's missing kind of the rest of the body. But yeah, they haul up this Dunkleosteus, and I'm like, when did we make that? When was that made? Who made this? Because I get why the Mosasaur is out, right? Because Jurassic World happened, and then Fallen Kingdom happened, and those idiots were like, yeah, it's dead in there. And then they let it out, which, you know, I get, okay? The Mosasaur is out, but there's only one, right? Maybe not. I don't know. And then they haul up this Dunkleosteus skull and then make hints that the Megalodon is out there somewhere. And I'm like, who made these things? How did they get out? Who's out here just making giant aquatic predators and just releasing them into the ocean? Are there some kind of biotech, genetic bioterrorists? I don't know. Where did it come from? And are they rare, or are they so common that they just happen to catch a Dunkleosteus head just as we're arriving at the island? How common are these things? If they are common, how did they come to be in the first place? What are they doing here? Who made them and released them into the ocean? Who did this? This person needs to be held accountable, because they're destroying our aquatic ecosystem. We were told, oh, the Mosasaur, it's wreaking havoc on the aquatic ecosystem of the planet, in like one of the last movies or something. But now we've got even more. We've got Mosasaur, Dunkleosteus, and maybe Megalodons? I just want to know how they got the DNA for these things, because in the original movies it's explained, oh, well, you know, we got the DNA for like above water animals, because mosquitoes, they'd suck up the blood, and then they'd get trapped in amber or some shit, and then they can go in and extract the DNA because it's preserved in the amber. But for the aquatic animals, I'm like, how are we getting this? Where are the underwater mosquitoes? Where's the underwater amber? Maybe there is an explanation for this and I just don't know. Maybe you know, explain it to me if I just am missing something, or if I'm just kind of stupid, but it doesn't make a lot of sense. So, you know, I was willing to kind of just let that go for the Mosasaur in Jurassic World, but now we've got like three different giant aquatic species out here, and I'm like, what's happening? How did we get the DNA? Who cloned these, and who let them out? What's happening? But whatever, who cares, man? Who cares? So they mentioned like the Megalodon jaw thing, like we're here to make sure you don't end up in one of those. So I'm like, oh, maybe there's going to be something that wasn't in the trailer. Maybe we're going to see a Megalodon in this movie. Honestly, that'd be kind of cool. That would be something I wouldn't have expected, but I would have expected an explanation if they did decide to use the Megalodon, which I wish they would have, and I wish the explanation was there, but it's not. And there's no Megalodon, even though they're like, yeah, one might be out there. If y'all are gonna mention something, use it. If not, you're wasting my time. And there's a lot of that in this movie. There's a lot of just wasted time where people are just kind of, they're just walking around. Like, I get it. There's gonna be some scenes of us walking through the woods, a little bit of little character development. But these characters suck, man. None of them are good. There's like one character who's like, what's his name? I don't know. We'll just skip that part for now. Edit that out.
No.
Okay. So now that they've got the boys, they've got the mercs, Scarlet, Mr. Friend, and Mr. Ali go down to hunt the Mosasaurus. They're like, you know, we're going to go get it. We're going to go get its blood and then go to the island and get the rest of the stuff that we need. Meanwhile, B-plot family taking a trip across the Atlantic. They're like, you know, we're just gonna sail through dinosaur infested waters. Why not? The whole world knows there's like this thin band across the planet near the equator where these animals can live. Let's sail right the through it. Why? They're like, well, we've done this before. Again, why? So we've not been stupid once. We've been stupid at least twice. You just got away with it the first time. Dumb.
Hi, Jeff. Jim on one last time. Don't want to bug you. You're probably tired from a trip and all. Anyway, I got to get a hold of the phone company. I think I got through and waiting this and push that.
They're sailing, and, you know, what did you expect to happen? The mosasaur is like, I'm going to bump you. So it bumps the boat, and it flips over. And, you know how these things go. You know, when things fall over, people get thrown an unreasonable distance away. Like the father's like 40 feet and the daughter's boyfriend character is like a quarter of a football field away. I'm like, bro, how'd you get over there? For tension, you see, because we need tension, because we need to think he might die. So the megalodon's coming up behind him. It's like, I'm gonna eat you. And then he gets to the boat just in time, and the the mosasaur doesn't eat him. They also see like these sails off in the distance, which I think is supposed to be like the Spinosaurs, but they don't show up to mess with the boat or anything, because if they did, the family would be dead. Because if they actually came over, the family would be dead. Even though they mention later on in the movie, oh my god, the Spinosaurs are helping the mosasaur hunt. Then why the did they not come over? If they're helping the mosasaur hunt, why did the Spinosaurs not come help it fucking hunt? I don't get it. I don't get it. This family should be dead in like the first 15 minutes of the movie. But because the dinosaurs in this movie are fucking stupid, they're not. Interesting stuff. But, you know, they get lucky, so they get the emergency radio or whatever from inside the boat, and they send out a distress signal. They're like, Mayday, Mayday, we've been attacked by a mosasaur and we're sinking. So now the mercenary team who are closing in on the mosasaur, although it's like hours later, so the mosasaur is no longer near the boat. They're closing in on the mosasaur. They pick up the distress signal, and Mr. Ali is like, hey, it'd be kind of cool if we went and saved them, because that's like a decent thing to do. But, you know, Mr. Billionaire, Tiger Billionaire friend is like, yeah, but what if we didn't? What if we didn't do that? You know, they'll be picked up eventually, Coast Guard, shipping lanes, vague statements. Like, no, y'all said yourself, no one really comes down here anymore. Coast Guard, they don't give a shit, because no one gives a shit about dinosaurs anymore. So no one would dare go and try to sneak onto Dinosaur Island, so we don't need to do patrols anymore. Huh? I don't know about all that. I don't know about that, but, there's no patrols or anything, so. But Ali's like, hey, man, shut the hell up. It's my boat. We're going to go pick him up. So they go pick him up, and now the cast is all together. Ooh, for like 10 minutes. We're all together for like 10 minutes. Because, they go start hunting the mosasaur again with the family, because they can't go drop the family off, because Mr. Friend is like, no, we don't have time. There's other companies who are doing the exact same thing as me right now. And I'm like, yeah, maybe you know that because of like corporate espionage stuff, but also these animals have existed for years at this point. And you're telling me the other companies are doing what you're doing right now? I don't buy it. I don't buy it. I'm not buying it. Look in my eyes. I don't buy it. They would have either already done it, or maybe are planning to do it and are being a lot smarter about it than you, dumbass. I don't know. But they would have either already done this shit, or they're going to do it at some point in the future. The chances, listen, I've taken some statistics and probability classes, and let me just say the probability of these companies randomly deciding to do exactly what you're doing right this instant, I don't think it's that big, okay? I don't think it's that large. I think it may even be negligible. Just saying. But, we need an excuse to put more people on the island. All right, fair enough. Okay, we got to have a movie somehow. We can't put together a smart excuse for it. So they're there, then they start going after the mosasaur again, and they pick up its signal, but it's like right under them, pretty much. So they're like, we didn't find the mosasaur found us. It happened upon you, I think is what you mean. It happened upon you, and it's like, hey, that boat kind of looks like a rival, and I don't like rivals. Marvel rival. So this is the part where we kind of get to what the trailers were showing with like the Spinosaurs and the Mosasaur and stuff. And, you know, Mr. Paleontologist is like, whoa, the Spinosaurs are hunting with the Mosasaur. This is crazy. Why don't we already know this though? Like, yeah, people have lost interest in dinosaurs, but you're telling me no one has come to research these animals in a quote unquote more natural habitat, or like one they can at least live in, so we haven't observed any of their natural behaviors at all? It seems like this would be the prime place to do so. They seem to be thriving here. Like, we see this giant herd of titanosaurs later on. I'm like, Jesus, how big is this island? How much food they got? They must have a lot, because they seem to be doing pretty well for themselves. No, the scientists of this world are like, nah, we're not gonna go look at the natural behaviors of these animals, because who would do that? That would be stupid, you idiot. We're not even gonna send drones to go like track the mosasaur, or kind of watch it from the air, from aerially watch it from the air. So they didn't know. So the Spinosaurs are helping the mosasaur hunt, even though I don't even think that that's very plausible. The mosasaur is a big animal, right? Big. I need some water. Like, the mosasaur is big. It is a big boy. It needs to eat a lot. So the mosasaur is probably like hunting whales and shit. I don't think the whales would be hanging out in a shallow enough waters for the Spinosaurs to really help all that much. I also think they're slower than the mosasaur because they're not as big. They've got less propulsion. They're also pretty significantly smaller than the mosasaur. So I don't really think that they're going to be chomping on things that it's hunting that would really do that much, like a whale. I don't know. Whales are big. They've also got the wrong kind of jaws for that shit. I don't know. They've got like these what do you call it? Like a conical skull, I guess. And just imagine that trying to bite on like a rounded surface. It's not gonna fucking work. I don't think that's gonna work that well. Just from a biological perspective, I don't think this is all that plausible. Okay, I get it. It's a movie. You know, they're hunting with the mosasaur because there's no because in this movie. It's just things are happening. Things are happening. Who needs the cuz? Who needs it? But yeah, so they're hunting with the mosasaur. Also, the Spinosaurs are not so big that they could really help the mosasaur hunt, but they're also big enough that the mosasaur would probably want to eat them because they seem like a pretty significant source of calories. They probably put a pretty big dent in the caloric intake requirement for the mosasaur to, you know, continue living. I would also think that the mosasaur would probably need to travel around a lot, you know, to keep finding new prey, new big prey like whales and stuff, and not just hanging out in the same spot, because I would imagine prey animals would just start avoiding that spot. Also, I think the Spinosaurs need to kind of be at least somewhat near land. Like, they're not totally aquatic, they're amphibious. So is the mosasaur just island hopping so that his best pals, the Spinosaurs, can go to bed at night? I don't know. Who cares? Stop asking questions. These questions are stupid. Stop it. Just enjoy the movie, you schlup. Whatever, man. There's also a line earlier when the family is kind of on the boat. They're like, man, do you think it's one of those? I hope not. I hate those things. And then the dad's like, well, there's barely any of them left. Are we talking about the mosasaurs, or are we just talking about big aquatic animals in general? Because one, if we're just talking about mosasaurs, are there more than one? If so, how/when? There was only one. Did it mate with itself? Did it just lay eggs and they're spontaneously like, hey? Wait, I don't think mosasaurs lay eggs. I don't know. I'm not a biologist. I'm not a paleontologist. I don't know shit. Did it just put down a mosasaur spawner somewhere? I don't know, because they're saying there's not many of them left, or I hate those things, implies that there are more than one. Implies plurality. Maybe they're just talking about big aquatic animals in general, which, you know, would make more sense considering that we know that there are Dunkleosteus, Dunkleostoses out there. But then that brings me back to my original question, like how/why? When? What happened? How did they get out? Who made them? Why are they here? They just appeared? They crawled out of a hollow earth? Godzilla, anyone? I don't know. Anyway, trailer scene happens. Bingo, bango, bongo. They got the mosasaur blood. They sucked it up, got the vial because it ejected out. Fine. Okay. Smart enough collection system. It ejects out and has a little parachute type deal. Okay. They got the mosasaur blood, but oh no, the Spinosaurs who help the mosasaur hunt are dickheads. They're dickheads. And they ate one of our guys. And now the boat is fucked. Because Ali was like, you know, the mosasaur can't go into shallow water, and that's definitely our biggest issue right now. So we're gonna go book it straight at the land. Yeah, they get into the shallow water, but they're going a little quick, so they also beach themselves on a bunch of rocks. So even if the tide came up, they couldn't use the boat because it's got a bunch of holes in it now. Also, at one point, the older daughter of the guy, family unit, older daughter, she's like, oh, I'm falling off the boat. And Tiger Billionaire just looks at her like, elbows on. So she falls off the boat because he wouldn't help her. What a dickhead. I'm starting to think that Rupert Mr. Friend might not be a friend. I don't know. Billionaire bad? Question mark. Billionaire bad? What? No. What? No. What? No. So anyway, daughter falls off the boat. Boyfriend dives in to go get her, which honestly, baller ass move. There's a bunch of Spinosauruses, Spinosauri in the water. And he's like, fuck it, man. That's my girl. That's my girlfriend. I gotta get her. So he jumps in the water, and the dad and his younger daughter now, he's like, oh, he just jumped into Spinosaurus infested water. I better jump in there with my youngest daughter too. So they do. And they all die. Nope, just kidding. Where did the Spinosauruses go? Where did they go? Hello? 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 They're gone. Where'd they go? They just decided to stop? They're like, nah. We pulled that one guy off the boat. He'll fill us all up. There's 5 of you. That guy is like, I don't know, like a burger meal for one of you. Not gonna cut it. Methinks. So they just stop. They stop chasing the boat so the family can jump off and make it to shore safely. They stop chasing the boat because, once again, where are the becauses? What the fuck is happening? What's going on? I would get it. Like, I don't know why they didn't just separate the Spinosaurus attack from the Mosasaurus attack. The Spinosaurus hunting with the Mosasaur really didn't make that big of a difference. Like, if they had just separated that into 2 different encounters, had the Spinosaurus attack the ship, they still could have had that mercenary guy die. And then when the Mosasaurus shows up, all the Spinosaurus could be like, oh shit, we gotta go. It's gonna eat us. So they run off, and then the ship books it towards the shore. Mosasaurus can't go in the shallow water, so then all of the family jumps off the boat in the shallow water and are then reasonably able to make it to shore. That just makes more sense. I'm no screenwriter, but why didn't we just do that? Instead, they're like, no, the Spinosauruses are hunting with the Mosasaur, and the Mosasaur starts chasing the boat towards the shore. The family jumps off. Like, I get it. Maybe the boat outran the Spinosauruses a little bit, but also the Spinosauruses could have definitely caught up to the family because they jumped off the boat like a quarter mile away from the shore. There's no way they're making it. You're lying. You are lying. I don't buy it. I don't buy what you're selling. Anyway. Who cares? Who cares? Stop asking questions. Now we're back to the mercenaries. We beached our boat on the beach, on the rocks. We're Bjorked. But Scarlett Johansson's like, you know what, guys? I knew something like this was gonna happen because I'm a smarty pants. So, and you know, good on her for that, you know? I can't fault the character for having a backup plan because that's just smart. And we love smart characters. Slay. She's like, hey, so I made this backup plan. There's a rescue helicopter that's going to go to the village like tomorrow night. It's going to hover over the village for like 2 minutes. If it sees someone, it'll land and pick us up and we can get out. All right. Slick. So tomorrow night. So now the mission's on a timer. We got to get the blood and get out before the helicopter leaves us to die. And you know, it's like, fine, sure, let's not abort the mission at all. It's not like we can just fucking come back, maybe plan a little bit better next time. I don't know. But they're like, nah, we gotta keep the mission going. I don't even think they discuss it. It's just implied that they're all like, yeah, none of us are afraid of dying. We're just gonna keep going with the mission. Sure. So they, they just keep going. Except for, another one of the mercenaries, Nina, played by Felipe Velge. I don't know. She gets chomped. She's like trying to take this giant heap of luggage and pull it onto the beach because somehow it fell off the boat, and it's like emergency supplies. I don't know how it got off the boat and into the water like 100 feet away from the boat, but she's like, I'm gonna walk around and push it up the shore. But whoopsies, she did not see the sleeping Spinosaurus off to the right about 40 feet. Oh no. So it kind of goes into the water and it gets her and she's gone. She dies off screen actually because she walks around the luggage and the camera doesn't follow her. It just comes up, she screams, and she's like, oh. So she gets dragged into the water along with all the luggage. The deaths in this movie, kind of lackluster. Like, I get it. It's a PG-13 movie. I think it was PG-13. And who's here for watching people get eaten by dinosaurs? I think that's why people go to Jurassic World movies now, is it not? To watch people get eaten by dinosaurs. Like, what else are you going for? The plot? What plot? Scarlett Johansson? Maybe. The deaths kind of suck. Whatever. It's fine. Whatever. At least there's a little bit of blood. All right, so blah, blah, blah. Let's go back to the family now. So the family, they kind of just swim into this cove area and they're like, I can't believe we made it. Me too, dude. Y'all should be Spino food right now. But no, they get there and they're like, okay, well, we're fine. And this family shit, it's just boring. This family subplot it's just exhausting. It's just watching the boyfriend bond with the dad for like an hour and a half, and they don't even bond. I don't know, the boyfriend has like this weird redemption thing, but all he really did was be lazy at like the beginning of the movie when there were absolutely no stakes. So he was just being a fuck-ass kid, because who hasn't been a fuck-ass kid? They kind of suck, but whatever. They have their like redemption thing. The little girl finds I think it's like a microceratops or something, little it's like the size of a dog, small dog dinosaur, Camp Cretaceous style, because we need to have some kind of cute sidekick character for the obligatory child that's in this movie. Why do we need to have obligatory children in these Jurassic World, Jurassic Park movies? Like, there's no tension when the kid's involved. They're not gonna die. We don't kill kids in movies unless it's Final Destination or The Blob. None of these characters in this subplot are gonna die because that would be too much for the child. And I'm like, at no point am I ever like, man, one of these characters is gonna die, except for maybe the boyfriend. I did not think the boyfriend would make it to the end of the movie, but he does. Also, he's like a comic relief character. His comic relief is kind of just Marvel quips. None of the humor that he ever like brings up is like circumstantial. It's always just random shit that he says. He's like looking out on the island. He's like, man, you ever think when an old person buys a new bed, they're like, man, this is the bed I'm gonna die in. That's what I'm thinking right now. Like, dude, shut the hell up. Shut up. Just because you're a weird teenager stoner doesn't mean that you're just obliged to say dumb shit all the time. Stop talking. Nothing on the actor. I don't think the actor does a great job with the character, but I also think the character just sucked. It just sucked. I did not like the boyfriend character at all. And then the rest of the family are just kind of nothing burger characters. They're just there. Like, the little girl has cute moments feeding licorice to a microceratops, and that's it. I guess the older daughter's kind of brave because she goes and gets like a raft so that they could go down the river or the village, and it's right next to a sleeping T-Rex. That's a tough spot to be in. Good on her. Sure. That takes some guts. Sure. But when she's inflating the raft, like, the T-Rex just fucking disappears. It's like, Jason Voorhees T-Rex? What the hell just happened? And it's like the one okay scene that the family really gets is that they're kind of going down the river in this raft and the T-Rex is kind of chasing them. But the T-Rex also just fucking sucks at killing things. Like, it just sucks. They're going real slowly down the river and the T-Rex is like, okay, I'm gonna walk into the water and I'm gonna swim next to you. Then I'm gonna stand up in the water and flip the boat over instead of standing up in the water and just doesn't decide to do that. It's like, okay, I'm gonna flip the boat over. Which, it's like maybe the T-Rex is like, man, what the hell are these things? It's a big yellow raft. Can dinosaurs see color? Can T-Rexes see color? I don't know. I imagine it looked kind of weird from like an animalistic perspective, so maybe it's just curious. Sure. But then once the family are in the water, it does actually just try eating them. And it does a really bad job. The dad is kind of in the water at one point, kind of under the water, trying to dodge the T-Rex's jaws. And dodging underwater, not the easiest thing to do. Not really something you can do that much. Moving a little bit like doesn't really work that well. But he manages to do it, and he gets by the dinosaur going "Arr, arr." Like, it just sucks, man. And the T-Rex has its eye under the water. It can see him. It's not like it's just going in blind. It can see him. And I don't know, man. Like, there are better ways you could have done this scene. You could have made the river going faster and the T-Rex having to actually run like along the shore. I forget how they did it in like the original Jurassic Park novel, because this is definitely a reference to that. There's like a river raft scene in the original novel that I think involves like Alan Grant and the two kids, but there's just no tension in this scene. I don't know. Not no, but very little. This T-Rex just sucks. He just sucks. Maybe he was just EP, he just woke up from a nap, kind of out of it, hasn't worn up yet, didn't do his yoga for the morning. So, they all get away, and then the raft miraculously survives being like chomped down by a T-Rex. I don't know, the T-Rex kind of like puts its teeth against the raft and starts like indenting it. It doesn't tear, which, fine. T-Rex teeth I don't think are particularly sharp, but they are serrated. It just doesn't continue to bite. It just goes like, oh, all right, I'm done. And it even picks it up in its mouth at one point and starts shaking it around. And it doesn't pop at all. What the fuck is this thing made out of? Teflon? Is Teflon hard? Carbon fiber? Titan sub? What's this thing made out of? I don't know. Back to the mercenaries. So they need more blood. They got the mosasaur. So now they need to get titanosaur, which is just, a really, really big guy. Really, really, really big. Something called a sauropod. It's a big herbivore, eats a lot, and it's just really big. They find it really easily, really not that hard. Again, why did we need the paleontologist? It's just a big fucking dinosaur, man. It's not like it's hiding. Paleontologist has his little moment with the leg of the sauropod or whatever, the titanosaur. Meanwhile, while he's standing right under the leg, kind of touching it, he's like, oh. Scarlett Johansson's like, you know what? I'm gonna shoot the thing with the thing and get the blood. So she shoots it, and he's turned into a pancake. Just kidding. I don't, the syringe goes up, flies into the thing's neck or whatever, and it gets the blood and comes out. And the Titanosaur's like, man, what the hell was that? Something just hit me. But, it has no strong reaction, which, thank goodness, because that boy would have either been turned into a pancake or red mist, because I think they're like spindly little tails or whatever. I think they used those for like fighting, didn't they? Like the velocity at the tip of those tails was fast as fuck. And if he had been hit with one of those, gone, red mist, dead. No, he's fine. So that's 2 down. Second one was a lot easier. All right. So now they need the blood from what's called a Quetzalcoatlus. Big bird. Big pterodactyl looking motherfucker. They said it's like the size of an F-14 fighter jet. Big boy. So, they scale an entire mountain. Again, they've got like a day to do all this. And start to rappel down the mountain to this like Aztec looking ancient Mesoamerican carving into the wall. Because I'm sure there's no other way in there. I'm sure that's how the Mesoamericans got there. They just rappelled down the mountain and carved it in and then just hung out in there, I'm sure. So they rappelled down there to get to the Quetzalcoatlus eggs, because they don't want to take a sample from a big live full grown Quetzalcoatlus, because it's big and it would eat them. That's foreshadowing. So they get the sample, right? So they go in, they put the syringe in the egg, and they're like, oh man, we got the sample. But oh no, guess who shows up? The mom. The mom appears. She's like, yo, can you stop doing that? Like, what are you doing to my egg, you weirdo? She's like, pecking at Scarlett Johansson and Mr. Paleo. But, one of the other mercenaries, apparently his name is Leclerc, played by Bachir Sylvain. He throws a fucking hammer at the Quetzalcoatlus. Honestly, goated move. Well played. Bro throws a hammer at the thing, so it's like, bitch, did you just throw a hammer at me? And it starts chasing him up the mountain as he's being pulled back up by Ali and Tiger Billionaire. Mr. Paleo gets the sample, but the rope snaps that he's kind of holding on to, so he falls to his death. Nope, just kidding. You don't take fall damage if you fall into water. Fun fact for life, you don't take damage if you fall into water, so he's fine. The sample, its parachute deploys and it kind of just lands like right next to him, so you know they got that. But Leclerc, as he's climbing up, he's like climbing up, and then the camera's on top of the mountain, and you know he's about to crest, but oh no, he's being eaten by the Quetzalcoatlus. It comes up over the ridge and he's like in its mouth, like yeah, and he gets gulleted. He kind of gets swallowed down. But I don't know why the rope like snaps. Maybe the Quetzalcoatlus fucking bit it or something. I don't know. The rope just kind of snaps and he's just eaten. I'm wondering, like, if he's alive when he goes down, if he had a knife, could he just, you know, Tremors 3 his way out of that thing? Maybe. Pull a Burt Gummer. You know, maybe his back was broken, or maybe he was like paralyzed when he finally got gummed down by the thing. You might think you might take precautions for something like that, considering it's so big it would probably just eat you alive and whole. Who's to say? But that's one more merc gone, dead and gone. Bro pulled out the best move in the movie with the hammer toss and then died. But anyway, the people at the top, so Ali and Tiger Billionaire, kind of find like a staircase that goes down into the mountain, which I'm like, that probably would have been nice to find earlier. I don't know if it goes all the way just straight to the bottom or if it goes through the room that was carved into the mountain. That would have been real convenient to find earlier before they start sending people down the side of a sheer cliff face. And it's like 5 feet away from them. It's like 5 feet to the right. I'm like, bro, you guys suck. You stink so much. You smell like doo-doo. Y'all smell like caca. Bad. Anyway, they get all the way to the bottom. Paleontologist has his sample. Little continuity error here though. When they go to put the sample in the case, for some reason it's a different color than when they collected it. Like when they sucked it out of the egg, it was white because, you know, egg material. But when they put it in the case with the others are red because, you know, they're blood. But when they go to put the egg whites in with the blood, it's just blood. They used the wrong prop, or I don't know if it was like CGI liquid or something, but somebody screwed up there. Someone messed the bed because that should have been white and it was red. I got you, filmmakers. Your movie sucks. Ugh. Bad continuity, no continuity, stinky. At some point, Mr. Friend, Tiger Billionaire, finds a gun and he doesn't tell anyone. I'm sure that won't come up later. I'm sure Mr. Friend is a friend to all. So the family, you know, they go down the river and they find their way back to the village following some geothermal vents or whatever. Good thing they were going the right way and not towards wherever the geothermal source was. And then Scarjo and the rest of the mercs also find the village as well. It's getting a little dark, but they find each other. The cast is back together. But oh no, mutant dinosaurs show up. Little things called mutadons. Somebody thought it was a really funny idea to go ahead and mix like a pterodactyl and a velociraptor together. Who did this? Why? Why have we done this? Where's the appeal in a mutant dinosaur? It's like, hey, we made a monster. Come to Monster Park where you can witness horrors beyond your comprehension. But yeah, mutadons, they show up. I don't know if they can mate or if they just made like 3 of these things, because, you know, usually genetically modified organisms are not able to mate that well because their DNA is kind of fucked. But, you know, I'm no biologist. I don't know. I'm just saying from what I've heard, you know, word on the street is that mutant creatures can't really boink and make kids because their DNA is all screwy. But, you know, maybe they can. Maybe the DNA scientists at InGen Jurassic Park were just that good. Obviously not good enough to be fucking foiled by a Snickers wrapper, though. Anyway, they have a couple of close encounters with these things. Tiger Billionaire, you know, he billionaires all over the place and takes the case with the samples and and drives off with like the only nearby working vehicle. So he abandons the rest of them. I'm starting to think Mr. Billionaire is not that great of a guy. Just a hunch. Anyway, but Scarlet kind of stole his gun away from him because he fucking sucked with it. He tried shooting a Mutadon a few times, but just missed. Scarlet got a hold of it and shoots a Mutadon a few times. Meanwhile, Mr. Paleontologist is trying to get the attention of the helicopter, so he shoots a flare. They see him and they come wheeling around. But, oh no. Remember that thing from the beginning of the movie? Remember the D-Rex? Humongous D, ginormous D, gigantic D, tenacious D. He's here. He's here and he is not happy. So the helicopter kind of wheels around into the mist. It's like, okay, I'm gonna come in through the mist and be all dramatic. But oh no, as it comes through the mist, it is revealed that in fact the helicopter is not okay. It is in the jaws of Tenacious D. He's eating them. He is chomping down on that helicopter. Bro is going buck wild on that helicopter. Oh no. How? Why? How did he grab that thing and not get fucking hurt? There are giant rotating propeller blades on the top of that thing going real fast, but he just grabs it and he's like, oh, I got a little snacky poo. It tastes a little metallic. Sure. And that's something the film does a lot. It's like they hide something just out of sight and what you expect to happen doesn't happen. And it's like, wow, I've never seen more obvious uses of the direct definition for irony. Whoa, what you expect to happen doesn't happen. Whoa, the helicopter, it's coming through the mist, but no, it's not. It's in the jaws of Big D. The guy's climbing up the cliff. He's about to come over, but no, he's not, because he's actually being eaten by a big bird. Bro, we have no creativity here. We have none. We're all out. Fresh out. That's why we're making a 7th fucking Jurassic Park movie. Stop it! Anyway, helicopter's gone. Dead. People gone. D-Rex just got like 4 kills in like 20 seconds. So what are we gonna do? Oh, we spotted a boat on the camera system. It's over on the dock. And it's small and it's semi-inflatable. And I'm sure it is not susceptible to Spinosaurs or Mosasaurs at all. I'm sure it's a fine boat. I'm sure it's fine. So they're like, okay, that is our only way out now, which is, fair enough. Sure, it makes sense that there would be a boat, but after something like 17 years, I'm not sure it would work exactly how they would expect. But now the D-Rex is here, Big D, and he does not like people. So it's about to. So they all run to the dock. It's right on top of them. But Tiger Billionaire in his car, who's just been riding around or something for like the last 10 minutes, just been and speed racing around the facility, finally wheels around and he's like, oh. Big D sees him and he's like, man, cut your shit out. He stops the car, picks him up, and he eats his ass. He eats him. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Bro got eaten right in front of our eyes. And not whole. No, bro got like torn in half. His arm went flying and then he got like bit again and his legs were just there. And then honestly, good death. Good job. I like that one. That was a good one. Anyway, bro gets eaten, but luckily the D-Rex doesn't eat all the samples and they just go flying with the guy's arm still attached. So Scarlet picks it up and they run to the boat on the dock. But oh no, the release mechanism is not working. Oh no. Why isn't it working? So Scarlet starts to just smack it with she just starts smacking the chain with a metal fucking bar. Sure. I'm sure that'll work. It does, but not yet. So Mr. Ali is like, oh no, the D-Rex, it's coming. It's already eaten the guy. So I'm going to take this flare and run off into the swamp so that you guys can get away. So he leads it off into the swamp, and good thing it's slow as balls. It's like lumbering through the woods. I'm like, bro, you could have just outrun the thing. If you had just stayed on your damn feet, you could have just outrun it. Like even in the D&D reference, difficult terrain. Even in the difficult terrain he was in, he could have outrun the thing. But he falls over, flare's right there, another trailer scene, it roars at him, it's like, rah! And the flare goes out, they see it go out from the dock, and then Scarlet hitting the fucking, hitting the chain with the metal rod eventually works. Sure. So the boat falls into the water and they all get in just in time, and then they get it started, and the D-Rex has now made it back to the dock after lumbering back on over, made it back to the dock, and now it's like, rawr, you got away from me this time. I'll get you next time. I'll get you and your little microceratops too. So they start going off. Scarlett Johansson's like, Ollie, whatever the character's name is, Ollie, Ollie. And they got like a searchlight going, and then he fires a flare from the shoreline because bro is still alive. I don't know why or how. How did he live that? Bro was like 5 feet from Big D, and Big D is just like, you know what? Nah, I'm good. And it just walked away. How? How's bro alive? I don't get it. I guess maybe he put out the flare in the water, and then it's just like, where'd he go? Where'd he go? I can't see him. I can't see him. Oh no. I'm gonna go back to the dock now. I hope you're dead. Okay, dude. So whatever. So he gets in the boat and they all leave. Happy ever after, I guess. But again, they're in this dinky little boat. Y'all got capsized by a mosasaur and a couple of spinosaurs in a big boat. You guys are fucked. Whatever. They're gonna have to get real lucky to get out of there. But the movie ends. We don't see them actually escape. We just see them drive away from the island. But we all know being in the water is not safe. I guess maybe the spinosaurs are asleep. Sure. Is the mosasaur asleep? Sure. Why not? Why not? It's convenient. They're not there. They're not there anymore. But now that Tiger Billionaire is dead, now that there is no one to pay Scarlett Johansson, she's like, okay, we can give the DNA stuff to everyone so that, the pharmaceutical research is open source and all these different companies can make it, so that there's competition in the market, so that the price isn't so exuberant, which, is, yeah, good, nice, awesome, great. But also, how are you going to do that? How are you just going to make the DNA public? Is Mr. Paleontologist a computer whiz? I'm sure they can find someone that can translate the genetic code into like code. I don't know. They're just like vaguely like, yeah, we'll give it to everyone. All right, cool movie, man. Anyway, the movie was fine. It was okay, I guess, if you just want to shut your brain off and just sit there and watch something that's vaguely related to Jurassic Park. They name dropped Alan Grant at some point in the movie, and I'm like, why? Can we just not mention them at all? Like, it's barely a Jurassic World movie. Like, this could have just existed in a universe where, hey, yeah, dinosaurs, they exist and they're on an island. This didn't need to be a Jurassic Park movie or a Jurassic World movie. It is just a movie. And then you see, like, InGen. You hear InGen. You hear Alan Grant. It's like, this isn't Jurassic Park, because we're not at Jurassic Park. We're at some previously unmentioned research facility for the original park that we created for this movie. It makes no sense. I'm like, dude, why is this a Jurassic Park movie? Stop. Just stop. Stop it. We don't need more. You're beating a dead dinosaur. You're beating the dead horse. You gotta stop. Honestly, if I had my way, we would stop doing Jurassic Park stuff for like the next 20 years and then reboot the original movie as a horror film. Bum, bum, bum. Like the original novel. It's horrifying. And I just want a rated R version, a rated R movie adaptation of the original novel. But not right now. I don't want it right now, because right now it would be done badly. And they wouldn't do it right now because they're like, why would we do that? We already made that movie. Why don't we just make another one? But this time we need to go to an island to retrieve a diamond that was lost on one of the on a research island that we haven't mentioned in the lore until now. So we need to go get this diamond, and we need to dodge like this giant Velociraptor snake monster along the way. No, stop. I'm begging you. Stop making these movies. This one, what did I write? I wrote, this is a 3.865 out of 10. It's like a 3 or 4 out of 10. It sucks. It sucks. If you want, like, on a scale of 0 to Jurassic Park 3, it's like a 5. It's like half the movie that Jurassic Park 3 is, and Jurassic Park 3 is like a third of the movie that Jurassic Park 1 is. That's just a convoluted way of saying it sucked. This movie sucks. It's bad. I went to the bathroom like 3 times throughout the movie. I wasn't gone long because the bathroom was right outside our theater. But when I came back, I was like, man, I really don't think I missed anything. Yeah, I really don't think I'll be watching that ever again, hopefully. But, you know, maybe there's something I missed. Maybe when I went to the bathroom, I missed a Titanic level emotional scene. And maybe I'm completely off base. Maybe it's secret. Maybe it's a sleeper 9 out of 10. Who's to say? Disagree with me in the comments. I dare you. If you have something to say, go ahead and throw it down below. Any more criticisms, or maybe some positives that I missed, or maybe some criticisms that I'm a little off base about. I know there were a lot of pseudo-scientific claims that I made that I'm not necessarily qualified to make. But I'll see you guys later. I don't know what I'll be making next, if anything, but yeah, I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye. Hey guys, editing room Willish here. Thanks for watching all the way to the end of the video. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed it, you know, feel free to drop a like, maybe a comment. And if you're really feeling saucy, maybe a subscribe. Anyway, I'm gonna go shower. I've been editing this video for like 3 days straight. Even though it's not that good, I'm also not that good at editing. Alright, I'll see you guys later.